What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another video of Bravo Architects. In this video, I'll be talking about the structure systems of the stadiums which are hosting the 2018 FIFA World Cup. So I wanted to categorize the 12 stadiums in 3 sections according to the construction year. So the first category is the one for stadiums that were built in the Soviet time. In this category there are Luzhniki Stadium and Yekaterinburg Arena. Well, Luzhniki Stadium is in Moscow and it has a capacity of 81,000 seats. It was built in 1956. Yekaterinburg Arena has a capacity of 45,000 seats and was built in 1957. In the second category, stadiums that were built in 2010s are taking place for just another purpose, for another Olympics or city development. Stadiums in this category are Fisht in Sochi with a 48,000 seats of capacity, which was built in 2013. And the second one is Kazan Arena. It has a capacity of 45,000 seats and was built in 2013 as well. Spartak Stadium in Moscow was built in 2014 with a capacity of 42,000 seats. And lastly, in this category, Krestovsky Stadium in St. Petersburg, or with English name St. Petersburg, was built in 2017 with a capacity of 67,000 seats. And in the final category, the stadiums are constructed specifically for this championship, so most of them has 45,000 seats of capacity and obviously built in 2018. And stadiums in these categories are Cosmos Stadium in Samara, Nizhny Novgorod Stadium, Rostov Arena, Volgograd Stadium, Kaliningrad Stadium, and Mordovia Arena in Saransk. As I summarized the stadiums and categorized them in 3 sections, let's get into the basic information of the structure systems of each of them. There are really interesting ones, and I'm really interested in structures themselves, not only for stadiums, but even when I was studying, stadiums were taking a special place in my interests. I was all the time, researching them and trying to understand how the structure works. Well, most of them have the same kind of structure at the tribunes, which is reinforced concrete, and all they design and try to make it unique is the part that are covering the facade and placing the rooftop. So without further ado, let's get into the structures. Luzhniki Stadium has a historical structure. It was built in Soviet time. I really like those colonnades that are covering the facade, even creating an arcade or a colonnade, let's say, between the main structure in the public space. So the roof is covering with a steel structure, and it's really obvious that it was one of the crazy buildings that were built in the Soviet era. Years ago, I read an article about the constructivist Soviet buildings. It's not that I can really find the same article, but I'm gonna put down a link below in the description where you can see the similar examples of Soviet architecture, and you would see that this stadium also has that the shape of a Soviet architecture, and that's one of my favorites, by the way. Krestovsky Stadium in St. Petersburg has a utopic shape. They might have inspired by the Soviet architecture, and a tensile structure is carrying the roof, as you can see the cables and the pole. Fisht Stadium in Sochi has 2 big truss beams in longitudinal direction from one end on the ground to the other side of the stadium. And these two portions are coming together like an expansion joint, so they cover the roof and showing the shorter sides of the stadiums as openings. And the roof is connecting from these truss beams to the steel columns on the sides of the stadiums, as well as covering the tribunes. Yekaterinburg Arena is one of the two stadiums in this championship that were built in the Soviet era. Due to its low capacity of seats, which was like 27,000, I think, it was out of FIFA standards to be played in this championship, so that the capacity had to be increased, which is why it's redeveloped extensively in 2011. And the partial tribune is extending out of the stadium borders, which is actually, in my opinion, giving it an auditorium kind of atmosphere. It's a really clever design for extending the capacity of a stadium. Kazan Arena has a really fun shape with a bent roof on both sides in the different directions, so that it can be a complex geometry. It's a really cool shape. Nizhny Novgorod Stadium has an arcade around the stadium border, which is defining the public space, and has a semi-transparent facade with blue color, so that it really gives you a idea of an island or a city next to a sea or ocean. Although Nizhny Novgorod is located next to a river, but I really like the concept, the atmosphere that the facade and the blue and white color match, and it really fits the structure as well. And the roof consists of truss beams. Rostov Arena has this reinforced concrete structure at the base, so with this shape is providing a second skin of the facade. So the double skin facade is made with steel structure, and the facade is nicely illuminated. It looks like a bubble structure, but the bubbles actually do not carry any load, so it wouldn't be correct to call them a structure. It is just a finishing material in this case. Cosmos Arena in Samara is really interesting because it has this glass covered roof extending down to the ground, connecting from the roof to the sub-basement and also the ground. It is also creating a shaded public space, which reminds me the Singapore Sports Hub Stadium. It has a really nice round structure with truss beams, and the elliptical stadium is placed in the middle of that round structure. The truss beams are also connecting from ground to ground. That's why I think it's a really interesting one. It's a good idea to design a structure system of a stadium. Mordovia Arena in Saransk has a rounded square shape. The colorful facade is really attractive with red, orange and white color. It's really illuminative. I think they look like Allianz Arena, I think, but that was the first concept of such stadiums. Volgograd Stadium has a steel structure with cabled roof and the bubble finishing on it. And I really like the idea that the steel structure facade is kind of naked and it's left that way, so it gives you the steel ambience in the stadium. Spartak Stadium is in Moscow. It has a square shape with steel beams on the roof And the exterior is red and white. It's the same idea of the Allianz Arena as well as Mordovia Arena. And lastly, Kaliningrad Stadium has a very minimalist facade, which I really like it. And the cabled roof is adding another dimension to its structural design. And in minimalism, white is always the favorite color which is applied to this facade. It seems really successful facade for a minimal stadium. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want to deliver my special thanks to Edgar Brishanov for these amazing photographs. I'm gonna put down the link to his Flickr account so you can see more of his photos. I think he's an amazing photographer. He captures action and architecture photographs. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the like button if you like this video. I hope you found this video informative and joyful. Thank you for watching me, and see you in the next video.